Welcome back to Mima's Kitchen, and I am doing bread pudding today. And my grandchildren love bread pudding, so again, my grandchildren are getting married, and I'm doing this for them. And I also have nieces and probably nephews that would like this recipe. Now, I didn't do all of the bread because I wanted to show you what I do. I get a French bread at the bakery. I don't make my own French bread. And then I cut it like that to get the dark pieces off. And I break it into pieces like this. It's just simple, but you cannot make this bread pudding with biscuits or white bread or anything else. You just can't. And you put 2 cups of sugar in a pan, and I changed the recipe that I got a little bit, 2 cups of, Southerners call it sweet milk, and 2 cups of half and half. Just one moment, I got something. 2 cups of half and half. Then I've been soaking a cup of raisins in brandy for probably 20 minutes. Now, brandy is your secret. And for those of you who think, oh my gosh, she uses brandy. Brandy, if you don't know it, all alcohol that you cook with, it cooks out. So you want to stir in. I just do it together. You could do this in a separate bowl, but I do it. For all these years, probably 15 or 20 years, I've been doing it like this, and it works fine. Okay, then you put your bread in. And you don't have to soak it. I've heard of people soaking it for hours. You don't have to do that. I don't know why I don't have to do it, but I'm telling you, this is the best bread pudding you will ever have. And I have had guests come to my house and say, "Ooh, I don't know, I don't like bread pudding." And I just say, okay, well, they try it, and then they're a fan of this bread pudding. You won't believe how good it is. And at one time, I wanted to sell and cater bread pudding. But then I realized that's not for me. And then you throw I give this to the birds, the bread. Now, what I've done, I used to make it in a 9x13 pan, and I thought that was great. But my husband said he likes the crust. Everybody likes the hard crust around the bread pudding. He said, "Joan, why don't you put it in these cups?" And I said, well, I'll try it. So what I do is I take all this, and I need 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And I should have mixed that up. So you know what? I'm going to do it again. I should have mixed that up in my milk. So remember that. Do it with your milk and your sugar and your eggs. No big deal. It's not a catastrophe. And what I have done, I've lost my little film girls, so you can't get a close-up of this, but what I've done is I have put butter and buttered these, and I put quite a bit of butter. And then you take your half a cup of your bread pudding and you put it in here. And the half and half that I put on this makes it real rich. Now my precious girlfriend that gave me this recipe, she just used milk. But I find that if I use half and half, 2 cups of half and half, it makes it richer. So if you don't want it that rich, well then just use the milk. I wish that you could see, because I put quite a bit of, here I left one so that you could see how much butter I put in there. I put quite a bit of butter.
I can do that. Okay, show it.
My husband is helping me today.
Show the pan.
Like that. My butter will fall out if I tip it too much. But put quite a bit of butter in there. And keep stirring because your sugar will fall in the bottom. And I have my oven on 350. Before my mom died, I fixed this for her, and she loved it. My mom was a wonderful cook. My mother was a minister's wife, so whenever she had evangelists, traveling ministers, or whatever, they didn't go out to eat. My mom cooked for them. And we had a couple of ministers. I remember one for sure that said that, oh, he'd heard about my mom's cooking from other ministers. Because as we all know, I didn't know when I was a young girl, everybody can cook, which is sad, but they can't. Okay, now I'm going to put this in the oven, and because it's in these individual things, if you make it in a 9 by 13 pan, you need to leave it in there for an hour. But with these, we have to check them. I start checking them like in 30 minutes. Because they cook faster. So what I'll do is I turn my oven on. Now I want to make for you the topping. And the topping calls for evaporated milk. Evaporated milk, girls, is totally different than condensed milk. Condensed milk is with sugar. And you don't want to use with the condensed milk. And then you want 1 egg yolk and a cup of a cup of sugar, and 1/4 of a cup of brandy. And don't pour your brandy while you're cooking. You always do it separate because it could catch on fire. And I've had this bottle probably for 4 or 5 years. And this is a good brand. This is E&J brandy, but the best brand is Christian Brothers. Christian Brothers. Okay, and here we're going to go. And you need another whisk. Now, the recipe calls to use this over a double boiler. And a double boiler is a pan. Now, I'm talking to people who have never cooked. A double boiler is a pan like this. You have a pan and this double boiler, and you put water in this pan and set it up there. And you don't let the water touch this or it'll scorch. Now I'm melting a stick of butter. And while this is cooking, I'm going to tell my friends out there, and my one granddaughter wanted salad master pans. And I have had my salad master pans. My son turned 50 this year. And I've had salad master pans for 48 years. And if something goes wrong with them, you send them back to the factory, and they will replace them. And so my Savannah wanted salad master pans, so I bought her some.
For her wedding.
For her, she's getting married in September.
For her wedding.
For her gift. And she is I've already told her. She was really excited. If you ever go to, or see them on eBay or anything like that, buy them, because they are very expensive. And some people don't realize what a treasure they have. And another thing, girls, if you clean up after yourself, all the while you're cooking, you won't have a big mess. And I clean as I go. I always have. And it makes it easier for you. Then all you have to do, is put your dishes in the dishwasher after you eat. I can't stand to clean up while okay, now remember, you have to stir it all the time. And once this starts boiling, and it has to really get to boiling, then we put the brandy in it. Now you can use rum if you want to, but I prefer the brandy. When I first started cooking bread pudding, I put in rum. And here it's going to start boiling. I hope you all that watch the video, I hope that you enjoy it, and I would like to have all your comments. I made the banana pudding that I made the other day. I had never met anybody that had had that. And Malia, one of the little girls that was helping me that day, said that, oh, her grandpa makes that. She said, that's delicious. So, there are people out there that already knew that recipe. Okay, we can cut it off, and then when I